Another little thing that's been annoying me just a little bit is the fact that, you've probably heard it in some of the videos, this dynamo is just a little bit far forward. So what I was doing was, I was putting a stray edge on the end of the pulley, and I was running it up to the water pump pulley, and I was running it down to the crank pulley, and I could see that it's definitely a bit too far forward, and that's making a bit of noise. So I disconnected the battery so we don't have any live wires touching and earthing, and I'm going to take off the dynamo. My initial idea is to move the dynamo this side of the bracket, and that should give me at least the thickness of that in backwards. I think, if I'm right in saying that, I'm not sure. I think I tried this before and I was too far back, but it's not going to take very long to remove it. I've already removed the stud at the front that goes into the timing case, and all I have to do now is remove these two bolts going into the block here. So I'm going to take one out here first, and then the other one I'll take out slowly, because there's actually a fair weight in this now, in fairness. The bracket is very big. I think the Ferguson 20 TVO brackets or the petrol brackets could even be bigger and heavier, I think. I know the Ferguson 20 diesel bracket is only a small little thing. It's like the 135 and 35. It's only a small little. This is a far bigger job. As I said, it's a fair bit of weight in the dynamo and the bracket, so it'll take me time taking everything out. Bring it over to the bench, I'll remove it from the bracket over there, and I'll be able to have a go at moving it back on the bracket. So that's that off. So I'll move over to the bench now. All we really need is our 1/2 inch socket, our 1/2 inch spanner. So that'll take off everything we need. So that's a fine thread, that's okay, that can stay on there. And then we can turn it over and remove the bolts holding the bracket. This might not work, and I hate putting in spacers when you go moving things around, and you often see that done on alternator conversions and stuff. Load of flat washers or bits of tubing or something. But if it makes it quiet, and if it works, and it's a tasty job, and you're sticking with the original dynamo, I'm not too opposed to it. So at the moment that fits perfectly in there. You can feel it snug. Perfect. I like that. What I did before was I made sure that this was good and clean and where it meets on the block, because it gets this earth through there. So before I put it back on, I'm going to give that a good cleaning up, along with here and there where it meets, where it's connected. So what was I saying? I was saying that that's the way it's meant to be there, and if I was to move it to there, I now have a fair distance. If I was to move it back, I now have 1/2 inch, if not more, in there to make up. I'm not completely opposed to the idea if it actually brings the dynamo back enough to stop that noise that I'm hearing of the fan belt rubbing, we'll say. It's not running straight. I was going to quickly put back on the dynamo here and see if this will actually make a difference. And of course it's going to make a difference, but it's going to make too much of a difference. So we'll see. Now, okay, so I'm saying go back, use this stud here to go through, go back. And in fairness, it does look like it's going to line up a good bit better. So what I might do is get another stud, a longer bolt I mean, stick it in this side, nice space to do that, just to hang it, and see, keep that pushed up there, and see if, let's get the camera to focus in there, if it'll line up a bit better. Get your flat edge, straight edge. That's looking good there. And that's not looking too bad there either. Yeah, that could be the way to go. That really could be the way to go. So the tractor is fairly level at the moment. Check that with the spirit level. And there's a lot of messing around here I can be doing here with this. You can turn it, twist it. So I just want to see if I roughly get it level. Even roughly, does it make a difference? So try and hold it there best I can. About 2 mil off, and it's about 2 mil off, so it needs to come forward a bit. So there is a bit more forward. That's taking up the 2 mil there, but I can twist it. So can I take up the 2 mil below? Do that again. Okay, that's good there. And how's it looking down here? It's a little bit off. A little bit off. But it's a lot better than it was. So, what do we take from that? I said this is my pet hate. Putting in spacers and stuff. But if it helps, because that is making some racket sounds, if it helps stop that noise, and of course it's all it's doing is wearing the fan belt. Let's be honest, it's only going to ruin that fan belt and whatever other one I put on after if I leave it. That is, you're talking max 1.5 mil there, even not much more. So it's not bad. And considering I don't usually have the fan belt savage tight on this, I don't think that the body of that this dynamo is actually very level anyway. It's saying it does need to go up anyway for it to be level. And of course I want to try, and if I can, have it pull level, we'll say. It's going to nip these up a bit more, so when I get it to where I'm happier with it, that it'll stay. There's a little bit in going. saying it wants to come up a bit. So I'll go too far, nip it, and at least then it'll be easier to push it down. Well, that wasn't too far at all. Same that's level, it doesn't look level. To me. Let's check it with the stray hedge. Fairly good. A little bit too far there. So I'll find somewhere roughly in the middle. Give it a quick tap down. Yeah, that's fairly good. It's not too bad either. It's not too bad. There's a bit of adjustment there as well we can make. So I might just put back in. I'll try and move the camera up a bit closer, see can I get in there a bit better. Try and see if I can get in there a bit better. So I'll try and take a bit more of the slop out of it. And put in the bolts. Should just be a little bit of space to play around. Now at the back here, of course, I've got a long bolt in, so that is going to have to be replaced with, I'm not a fan of the look of this now, but it's more just to try and keep the dynamo on it and try and keep it in line. I don't know, is this the original dynamo? It does fit very well in the bracket, so maybe the pulley is wrong. Just keep out for an eye out for see what sort of pulley was on them from factory in case this was changed. Already that's after moving that a lot, and that's after moving that a good bit. Well, not too bad, but about another 1.5 mil, 50, yeah. So that needs to come up a bit, if possible. So it's just going to be a matter of playing around a little bit with this. So I'll keep doing that, and I'll come back when I have a bit more of an update. So this is the space I'm left with. I said before already, I hate any kind of bodge jobs here, but the thing about it is it just was too far off. It's literally very, very close to perfect there. If you look at the gap there, if there's actually any gap at all, it feels like it's perfect. So I don't know, is this the original dynamo that was on it or not, but look, that's where it needs to be. So what I'm after doing is I'm after getting a longer original bolt. I'm after putting in this little spacer to making it, and I'm going to try that for a fit. So I don't think there's any other way around this, to be honest with you, bar filling that gap and at least doing it right. But I would far prefer not to have to do this. But if it means getting it all lined up a bit better, because it wasn't, and it was making a bit of racket. It was making plenty of racket. So I might just get a pliers for that. That's it going through. Put the nut on the end of it now, and we'll be sucking diesel. So that's that starting to turn there, starting to tread on. And now we should be able to adjust our fan belt and so this fan belt adjustment bracket was too short as well, so I'm after lengthening it, a little bit of slot in it, so I can get more tension on it. Because you want to make sure that that dynamo is turning. Happened in the Ferguson 20 diesel as well. The adjustment bracket wasn't long enough, and it ended up, I was adjusting the voltage regulator the whole time on it to try and get more charge out of it, when all that was wrong with it was the fan belt was slipping. So I'll turn off the video now because that rain is just a bit too noisy. So it's back in one piece, and the beauty of that job that I did, it means you can't actually see it because of this heat shield. So what I've done was, I'm just making sure that all these connections are nice and clean, because you know they do have to make a good connection. So I have this nail file that I stole from my wife, and she doesn't watch these videos, so it won't be an issue. And what I'll do is I'm going to give that just a bit of a clean up there. This is just general maintenance, and the same with the one in the back. I'm going to take him off because I didn't actually have a look at the connection, because this, literally a few seconds of rubbing with a sandpaper or a little file or all of that, it just makes, so it's not too bad, but just a quick little clean up of that will make it all the better. So I might as well tidy up these wires a little bit. I did have a look for some heat shrink, but because I already have the ringlets on the end of them, heat shrink is not going to work. So I have this tape. So now if you have someone, they're doing something like this and you have someone around, it's good just to give them a shout and give you a hand, because it's best if you can get someone holding there on this side and keep it kind of tensioned. You'll get a better finish on it. But we're just trying to tidy them up a little bit, take a bit of the yellow look off them. Now, I'm not going to go any more than that, because I know these two wires have to, they're not exactly right beside each other, so. Let's see if that's okay. And if it is, it's a trick of mine to save using a Jubilee, is to put a dotted glue on the end of it. For the simple reason being, with the heat, it will start to unfold there, start unraveling there. Let's give it a little. And it is a nice neat job, in fairness. It's good stuff now, so it is. Yeah, kind of a cloth, kind of a tape. So that should just do that. They're after getting a nice clean up on the backs of them there. Have a look in and see. Yeah, everything looks good and tidy in there. Glue's probably gone off now, so that's after setting. Kind of leaves a kind of a seamless finish on it. I like it. A kind of a nice little trick now to do, and you're not putting on cable ties or anything like that. Now, I didn't go, as you seen, the whole way with the tape up. I could go further if I wanted, but it's just to take a bit. Like it is there's a wire and loom fitted to this, and you know it's an aftermarket wire loom, so at least that looks like a loom then when you use that tape. Because the electricity will flow through this brass washer into the bolt, into the nut, through the threads and into the connection on the dynamo, it's always worthwhile just taking a second and just giving them a little clean up. Otherwise you're causing resistance. Resistance causes heat, and that uses up your energy, wasting your energy. It's wasting your charge from the dynamo. Simple as that. At least if you've been polished up and you're wondering why she's not charging as much down the road, that won't be the issue. So the little small brass nut in there is what is it? I remember it being a very strange size. I remember having it on a ring spanner somewhere. I think it's there we go, 5/16. So that, I don't think there's any other nuts or bolts on this tractor now that has that size, and the other bigger one then is 7/16. So roughly about 7mm and 11mm in modern currency. So that's them tightened up. I love them them nut connections. They're lovely and solid. So that is the dynamo back in one piece. If you look along there, it's probably hard to see, but things are a lot more lined up. And again, that bodge job I did, let's be honest, it's no other type of job than a bodge job. You can't actually see it. So I suppose the thing to do is to give it a start, give it a run, and get it ticking over low enough, because I used to hear it making an awful racket, and it was starting to eat into this as well. So managed to get a little bit more tension on that fan belt as well. So give it a start, have a listen and see that it stopped doing that. And another thing I noticed yesterday was when it was running, this was getting up fairly well shaped. So, you know, it's only a matter of time then before your bearings would be getting worn and then the whole thing would be getting loud. So it's just one of them things I think that has to be done. It's just not good when you see something sticking out or back too far. So give it a start and have a look. Just give it a quick start, cold start. It's very cold here today. Bit of rev, bit of choke, ignition on. And we forgot to put back on the battery lead. So I'll quickly put that back on. No sparks, always a good sign. Okay, good. Right, take two. Okay. Sound of silence. sounding so good, sounding good so far. Okay, so anyone who's watched videos in the last, these videos in the last while will have definitely heard that thing making an awful racket. So it's not perfect. I can see there straight away. It needs to come out a little bit. It's a little bit this way, but I don't think it's going to be anything worth complaining about. That'll be easy enough to do. Might even put a washer in behind the bracket there, maybe. That might be just be enough to bring it out. So that's the next job, and we're out of petrol. No harm, that's all I wanted to do. I managed to do to correct the angle a little bit was loosen that nut and bolt there and the one in there, and I put a pry bar underneath here and I pried it outwards, kept the pressure on it and retightened, because there is a bit of wiggle room in them holes. So that's after straightening it up an awful lot. So when I get a bit more petrol, I'm out of petrol there in my drum, so when I get more I'll give it a start the next day. But I'm happy enough that that's a lot better, and at least the bodge job can't be seen. It's in behind there. It needed to be done, it just was too far forward. You had the thickness of the dynamo there, that bracket there forward, so just that much far, a little bit too far proud or out front. So another tiny job, just one of them things. And I was trying to listen to the engine and tune it. You could hear, especially when you're working on the carb, that area, twisting in the jets or twisting them out, you could hear this thing screeching away, and of course the fan belt is only getting worn. So that is better, and I'm after getting more tension on the fan belt as well. So that should be a lot better, because what I noticed before I started was I was able to turn the water pump there, the fan, awful easy. So that's just another little job, and we'll move on to the next one next time.